Greetings, everyone. So wonderful to be with you once again. Jonathan and I, we're both in South Africa for this particular wave spell oracle transmission. So that's really very special for us. And today we're going to offer you the oracle for the wave spell that is from magnetic monkey to cosmic night. Are we choosing reality or are we choosing illusion? What I love about this wave spell is the numbers. Of course, you all know that I love numbers. They're very significant for me. So when I look at the wave spell, there are many 11s. It's the 11th wave spell. Today is magnetic monkey. The kin for that is 131. It is the first day, so it is a magnetic tone 1. And it is the crown chakra, which is also a 1. So there are lots of 1s in this, which I love. And of course, we had some huge things happening on Monday, which was the 11th of the 11th. So with that, no further ado, I'm going to hand over to Jonathan and let's dive into the oracle. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Leone, and hello, everyone. So this is really an interpretation of universal wisdom from the Western astrology and from the Mayan calendar as we look toward the period from the full moon, which is in Taurus, the sun in Scorpio. We will interpret the labor from the classic Western mythology. And as it concludes on the 27th of this month, November, which brings us from the full moon through to the cusp between the signs Scorpio and Sagittarius. And as Leone mentioned, the universe is asking, what is the evolutionary step to now be taken? Are we choosing reality or illusion? That which characterizes humanity's journey at this time. Scorpio is the sign of the battle of the opposites. If we overcome and are victorious in the sense of resolving them within ourselves, then a new vision, a new sense of purpose is revealed in Sagittarius, aiming the arrow, in fact, towards not only new vision and possibility, but towards the galactic center.
What I really love about that, John, and it's a theme that's been coming through in so much over the last few weeks and even months. We really are being reminded that as a humanity, as a one humanity, we are at a choice point. And what we choose at this time is going to flavor what we experience over the next few years. Next year, 2025, very, very significant astrologically, physically, emotionally, all of that on the world stage. So, yeah, good.
Let us speak somewhat to the nature of what we do experience as people. This is an orientation around ideas and thought forms. Those are the true controllers, really, and influencers in the world. And such ideas and thought forms are really created by groups. So if we look to the beginnings of our Western civilization, the ideas put forward by Plato, Socrates, and others characterized our history in terms of the working out, the inspiration behind democracy, and how that has been interpreted and how it is today. Of course, democracy is not the only idea, and we largely inherited a Roman interpretation of it. But the experience of that thought form working out as it has become crystallized brings us to the point that where many of us are experiencing that it's no longer working. It's self-serving, in fact, and we need to reach for something higher, something new. And that has had us experience, almost giving up, almost surrendering to the idea that perhaps there is no future, whatever. But if we can return to the heart, if we can come back to love, then the world has a future and there is a chance of going forward. So
that's really beautiful, John. Can I interject there? You speak of the thought form. So I've experienced this and refer to it as the Egregore. And it's a very, very powerful collective consciousness when it is given enough life force, becomes that which we create. And I think most of our listeners will be aware of the fact that what we think is what we create and how we perceive our reality. So this egregore is formed through thoughts, emotions, and intentions. And especially when it's done by a group of people, it reaches a very high level of potency and sophistication. So I believe this is what we are referring to, especially in this time of Scorpio, where we need to lift that thought form, that hydra that seems to be controlling our thought forms as individuals and as groups, to lift it up for transmutation. Thanks,
thank you, Leonie. Yes, and so let us look to the 13-day cycle, the wave spell from monkey to cosmic night in short, and then we'll unpack it in a little bit more detail. So today is the day of the full sun or full moon in Scorpio, the first day of the current 13-day cycle, moving towards, as we mentioned, the 27th, blue cosmic night, guided by the power of accomplishment and healing. This is really the dance and the play of the monkey between illusion and reality. And as we work out, as we lift up the old crystallizing thought form, which has humanity largely conflicted and unsure about our future, and in often opposing sides and polarities and conflict, then in fact, as that resolves, we can bring through the energy of healing and step into the energy of the life more abundant, which is really kind of magnificent. So the journey is one of empowering choice through wisdom. The first 3 days providing us with a sense going forward. Monkey, that is the question. Are we choosing reality or illusion? We can only know that from within, and that is the exercising of free will, which is the second day, lunar human.
Would it be good for us to put the image up of our wave spell cycle and the pyramid? Please.
Let's do.
Great.
All right, so then we see the cycle, which is really a fractal of the cosmic pattern of the galaxy. And the first day, blue magnetic monkey. I unify in order to play, attracting illusion or reality. I seal the process of magic with a magnetic tone of purpose. And as we know, every journey begins with purpose, but is then characterized by challenge. That comes in on day 2, which is the lunar human. Exercising free will choice to step forward in the interplay between illusion and reality. And the nature of the human is guided by wisdom. Yellow lunar human. I polarize in order to influence, stabilizing wisdom. I seal the process of free will with the lunar tone of challenge. In fact, the guide is the power of flowering. To become the seed of awareness, let's say, which propels us forward to seek truth, to seek wisdom, and to seek our purpose, which is then activated on day 3, the electric skywalker, the keynote of electric skywalker. I activate in order to explore bonding wakefulness. I seal the output of space with the electric tone of service, guided by the power of navigation. Now, the significance there is that humanity's wakefulness is becoming synchronized. Not only are we sharing the experience of the one humanity in its various facets, continents, and groupings, but we are synchronized as the consciousness of the planet, even the brain of the planet, one might say. And so that just is a taste of the unfolding journey. But, perhaps, Leone, we can speak of the labor of Scorpio, which is really the background to this journey.
That's the big lift for us. It has been for this month. John, we're going into Sagittarius on the 22nd, that's right?
Yes.
Because when I look at the wave spell oracle there, that's the day that we move out of Scorpio, where we've had this very, very challenging labor, which has been felt by so many people. We're going into that, and what stands out for me on the 22nd, as we move into Sagittarius, the Mayan energy is that of the mirror, guided by wind, which is the breath, the spirit that speaks to us. So that is, I'm seeing it as a day where we are offered an opportunity for self-reflection. What are you seeing when you look into the mirror? Are you ready? Have you made the right choices? Have you made those course corrections and adjustments within yourself in order to bring the very best that you can to the greater picture? Thanks, John.
And notice that the guide is, as you mentioned, spirit, breath, and communication. So the more we are able to communicate and share, talk this out with our brothers and sisters, especially with the capacity to hear, to listen, and to recognize the needs and the intuition that is being conveyed, then we can meet those needs, and we can share in the intuition of the wisdom that is available and within each one of us.
So it's worth noting that that's a date to circle in your diary and to be aware of that. From that day on, there would be a stronger opportunity for this particular kind of communication, right?
Yes, indeed. Now, to the labor of Scorpio. So the sign of Scorpio really is the classic sign in which the seeker of truth is faced with overcoming the 9-headed Hydra of its 3 dominant aspects: sex, money, and power, each of which has to do with the lower subconscious psychic nature. This is the test and trial of humanity at this time.
This has kind of like been in the forefront of many civilizations in the past, and especially those that have been destroyed. One thinks of Atlantis possibly, and epochs falling to their knees because of greed, corruption of power, sex, money. So yeah, it's very much in our faces, especially at this time.
It is, and it has many people conflicted and in crisis, and also in opposition with each other. And that is really the nature of the illusion. But these are very dominant forces working out. And it is for the seeker, the aspirant, the spiritually orientated, to rise up and to lift the lower nature into the higher. That's really the promise of the not just of Sagittarius, but really the Phoenix rising, which is the transformed and transmuted lower nature into its divine counterpart.
Wonderful.
And so the challenge for each one of us on the planet at this time, and for humanity as a whole, truly, is to liberate our consciousness from these former prisons.
As Jonathan has already mentioned, if we as individuals and as a one humanity can return to the heart and stay in the heart, return to love, then we have a chance of overcoming this and being victorious. I also love that we were speaking yesterday about timelines and how the world was previously destroyed by water, and we're now looking at it being destroyed by fire. John, do you want to speak to that as well when we've finished talking about, look at this.
That has to transmute the energies of sex, money, and power. Consider that, that we're on a planet of reproduction. The universe itself is one of reproducing itself in so many ways. But that is not, who we are. It's the means of replication, but often it's the most dominant force. But the purpose is to bring consciousness into the medium of our material world, so that the lower and the higher nature can be reunited and wedded, and thereby something far more wonderful and potent arises. So you mentioned, destruction by fire. Previous cataclysms have destroyed the world by flood, and perhaps formerly by earth cataclysms. But, with the conditions that we're beginning to experience, there is a real chance of fire destroying our world. And we can change the timeline by exercising our capacity to return to the heart and to move into that alignment.
And to exercise our free will, really important. Something that came through for me earlier in the week, John, which I'd love to share because it really is so relevant, is what we're referring to as healing the divide. So we have this force of opposites that we're observing. And in a personal experience with a family member this week, he shared with me a beautiful, beautiful paragraph from A Course in Miracles. So the quote is from chapter 26, and that particular section is titled, "For They Have Come." And I read from that. "The holiest of all the spots on earth is where an ancient hatred has become a present love." Now, I feel to repeat that and just ask you to hold that thought in your awareness, in your heart, and feel the full impact of it. The holiest of all the spots on earth is where an ancient hatred has become a present love. And they, with a capital T, come quickly to the living temple. We are the living temple, where a home for them has been set up. There is no place in heaven holier, and they have come to dwell within the temple offered them, to be their resting place as well as yours. What hatred has released to love becomes the brightest light in heaven's radiance, and all the lights in heaven brighter grow in gratitude for what has been restored.
Yes, that's so beautiful. And doesn't it just speak to the the willingness and the achievement of releasing oneself from those former prisons of consciousness, the former ideologies, crystallized thought forms, which have us battling one with the other, and to be willing to move into our own heart center to discover the reality and the truth that we are, a one. And perhaps I can share a quote from my side to conclude this transmission. And that is from Dane Rudhyar, A Century of Evolution and Potential. The 21st century is shaping up to be a period of profound evolution, correlated with celestial meaning and driven by human agency. Each decade offers a unique blend of challenges and breakthroughs, underscoring the dynamic interplay between cosmic archetypes and historical patterns. As we navigate these transformative times, the choices we make will define the legacy we'll leave for future generations. The potential for a more equitable and sustainable world lies within our grasp, urging us to rise to the occasion and steer the course of our history towards a brighter future.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Because at the end of the day, especially those of us who have children or grandchildren, even great-grandchildren, we're doing this for them. We are here as the forerunners to create and to bring in the world we want to see our great-grandchildren and our generations, 14 generations ahead. We wish them to live in that world of peace. So let's choose that timeline.
And the challenge for us is to move into that frequency and to be it and to radiate it. That is our choice, truly. I often make my own alignment to what I call the frequency of the New World civilization. And it's there. It's in the potential and the cosmic potential, especially. We can each align with it and register the frequency of the New World civilization and allow oneself to be touched by that frequency, and then to give it our imagination and bring that in as if we're being fulfilled by living within it right now, and then move through our day in that frequency and radiating it out as an act of service to the others whom we encounter in our families, our neighborhoods, our group.
Excellent. Wonderful. Well, there we go. I think we're at the end of our transmission, Jonathan. There are one or two other things that I would like to bring in, but we will add those in the text of this. One thing I do want to mention, I created a Substack about the moon. So today is also the first day of the new 13-moon cycle, which runs from today for 28 days. That's the overtoned peacock moon of radiance, inviting us to shine ever more brightly. So
yes, do check out our Substacks, Leone and Jonathan, and do like this so that others can find it in their feed, and also, share with others. We're very grateful for your support and look forward to meeting up with you all again soon.
Yes. Thank you for choosing to be with us today in this now moment. Lots of love. Thank you, Jonathan. Blessings to everyone.
Much love.